After 9 months of fear, loneliness, and limits on our freedom that we never could have imagined, finally, some good news. The longed-for vaccine suddenly becoming a tangible reality, Pfizer's found to be 90% effective. The Oxford-AstraZeneca rival expected to report its results within weeks.
Just got some more sets of blood in from the clinic for the trial.
And here in Imperial's lab, work is progressing on their vaccine. Although it's unlikely to be ready until the middle of next year, the developers believe it's important to have lots of candidates.
One vaccine isn't going to be enough, and it's not about a single winner and everybody else is losers. We need as many vaccine candidates as possible for a number of reasons. First of all, we have interim data from the Pfizer vaccine. We don't know how long it will give an immune response. We don't know if it'll be effective in all different groups, the very old, the very young, people with underlying conditions. So the more candidates we have, the better the toolbox is. It's an incredibly complex operation to identify everybody who needs the vaccine in those vulnerable populations and get it out to them in a timely fashion. Now, at the moment, we have one vaccine that we think will come through, the Pfizer vaccine. That needs a very stringent cold chain. I would not be surprised in the next coming weeks we'll see a second vaccine, even a third vaccine, and more coming through next year. I think the biggest danger now is that we've got a vaccine that actually people may now stop taking things seriously because they think it's all over. And so we need to remind people that it's not all over until enough people have received a vaccine and that we really know it works.
If we don't get mass rollout before next summer, logistics and not science are likely to be the reason. The Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine must be stored at -70, and you've got to convince people that it's safe to take. The Royal College of GPs recognises the scale of the challenge.
GPs and their teams are already working pretty hard. It's winter. We have an enhanced flu vaccination campaign undergoing at the moment. Something will have to give. And we will also need help from others, such as medical students, dentists, vets, anyone who can be trained to safely give an immunisation. We will need to use them. So far, the evaluation appears to sound very encouraging. It sounds an effective vaccine and it sounds safe. But I think we await really the full evaluation of these new vaccines before we can fully reassure our patients that these are safe to go ahead with. And at the end of the day, it does have to pass the mum test. It does have to pass, would I be happy giving this vaccine both to myself and to my family? And I would want to be able to do that hand on heart to my patients.
Cards on the table. When I first started looking into vaccines this week, I was really hoping to tell a positive story about us all going back to normal. But I have to be guided by what I found. And the message seems to be that while there is genuine optimism about finding a successful vaccine, there are lots of hoops to jump through on safety, and rolling it out at scale is going to be a huge challenge.
While vaccine distribution could start before Christmas, it feels that a mass rollout is unlikely until well into next year. But after months of unrelentingly bad news, the fact that a successful vaccine is now within touching distance feels like a reason for optimism.